Are you guys getting the fall bug yet? If not, I'm sure you will in the coming days. 44 minutes after the hour on this Monday, the 25th here of August. Hello, everyone. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Goode. Welcome to the blog today. Yes, Angela, I am feeling better. I'm not sure what got me, but the ragweed is the likely suspect because the ragweed is my enemy. I get sick every year in August, every year. That's almost right on the cue. Hope you all have had a good weekend. It was really nice, right? Saturday was a little bit of that summer feel, but even then it wasn't that bad, right? We only made it in the lower 80s. Then yesterday really started to feel it in the evening when that wind was kicking up as we were on the other side of the front. And we may have more good news to share down the road. I'll be doing that over the next couple of moments. If you are joining in right now, again, you can comment on the social media side, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Is available for you guys out there, as well as X, and of course Facebook. Several of you have been on Facebook already. Of course YouTube, you guys get the heads up first sometimes before I even had a chance to get it out on the app. You guys are fast. Blue was first today, by the way, into the chat, so congrats, Blue, you're first today. All right, if you saw some of the headlines, some of you may or may not have, depending on which social media aspect you had. I do have two announcements to make today. One of those is going to be later on Wave Country with Don G today at 2 o'clock. And that is, if you guys are familiar with Tortoise Tuesdays, that's when I've had a chance to highlight my cicada tortoise, not recommended, by the way, for a pet for anyone, all right? This is a cicada tortoise, the third largest giant species of tortoise that's on the planet. Looks like a dinosaur. Harry turned 5 recently. And that means that now that Harry is 5, now we can actually determine the actual gender of Harry to understand not only the size that Harry will be, but whether or not Harry will be Leon X or not. So I do have finally the answer on that. And I told you guys I eventually would announce it. And that announcement will be today on Don's show for a gender reveal party for a tortoise. Probably the first and only one in the world. World premiere gender reveal party today at 2 o'clock on Wave Country. So make sure to tune in. We'll have a recap on 3 at the newscast, but 2 o'clock is when you'll see it live. All right, 28 days until fall. That leads me to the other announcement. Of course, you guys don't have to worry about this graphic anymore because, yes, technically 28 days. But we're getting weather already that's 30 days ahead of schedule. Hey, it's a fair trade. I like it. The other announcement, of course, is going to be coming up on Thursday, and that will be the announcement for the fall outlook will be coming out Thursday morning here on the blog. I'll go into all the way through the end of November after Thanksgiving. So a long-term outlook coming our way for you long-term fans. There's a lot of you out there that love the long-term stuff. All right, so there you go. Those are the announcements that I've got. Just remember, Jackson, it's a tortoise, not a turtle. I don't get overly sensitive about it, but the tortoise does. Big difference between them when it counts. They both have shells, yes, but one's in the water, one will drown in the water. So there is that right out of the gate. It's the biggest thing, but Harry is a land tortoise, not a swimming one, so they're different. And it can't go in their shell all the way, unlike a box turtle can. So they're all different types of turtles and tortoises out there, and we'll cover that today, but Harry, by far, is the big one. All right, so we got a lot to cover here. Angela, would you say? Now for a frost, a sour projection where the first frosted area will be later in October. Possibly. A couple of things can work in our favor, though, on that, getting an early one, if you want an early one, coming up, and I'll explain in just a second. Let's get you in the short-term aspect, and then I'll get into how we're looking all the way into Labor Day. I know Carson updated you guys yesterday, I believe, here on the blog, so we'll go a little bit longer term coming up in just a second to get you even further out into that following week. But what a gorgeous setup outside. Beautiful blue sky. It's hard to find anyone in a bad mood, right? It may be that one person in your office, but most people will be in a good mood with this kind of weather. 60s now in Louisville, 64 degrees. The coolest I was able to find in our area so far has been 48 this morning in Meade County. Indiana, you may have dropped to that level, but you don't have as many sensors in Indiana, and I wish that would change. in a big way. You guys need a mesonet so bad in Indiana to get more numbers, because we are getting some from smaller stations that are out there. Some are airport hubs that we have in Indiana that you're looking at there, but a mesonet setup in Indiana would help us out tremendously, because our weather tends to come from the west northwest, right? So knowing what's coming our way and getting data on that is a bit crucial. Lexington gets all the fun because we have such a network west of them that we do a good job of giving Lexington area a big heads up what's coming their way. Even Cincinnati, I think we help them out. But we need more help. We need more data to the west. But anyway, I digress. Cool outside this morning. We'll get into the 70s today, but no 80s. No 80s today. You can see the trends as of late. I don't know if you can see these numbers or not. Let me bring them up so you can see them a little closer. Look at that stretch of 90s. Oh, do you miss the 90s? Type 3 if you miss the 90s. Type 1 if you're done for the year. Type 3 if you miss them. 1 if you're done for the year with those. You can see the 90s coming in to play there on the 15th all the way through the 19th, and that was our last day. And then we got into a cloudy setup that was really a different scenario. This cool wave was arriving on track. This is the main cool wave we've been talking about, but we got some bonus cooler days, not exactly less humid, but cooler because of the clouds that happened before we got into the weekend. And you saw what happened there on over the weekend on Saturday when the sun was able to come out. We jumped back up to 85. So yeah, the sun still had some work to do, but thankfully we were able to avoid the 90s yet again. Nice and clear on the satellite, so it's I mean, for all intents and purposes, the satellite and the, well, not satellite, but the radar can take a nice little sabbatical for a while. Futurecast, several things to watch. Most of the action is going to be our south and west, not only for the rest of this week, but perhaps even into a good chunk of next week. It's going to be mainly south and west of us that most of the action will be moving by. I don't think it's close enough yet that we'll have to worry about rain chances in our southwest counties. That may be a bit of a challenge, but if there's any spot that would change on that idea, you would be first. For the rest of us, it will take some time. So this is going to continue to be a dry setup, breezy at times. Fire danger issues do start to develop by the middle of the week with gustier winds moving in the area, and we're not quite to an elevated fire danger yet or red flag warning or anything like that, because we are in the driest time of the year. So some of that can be a little skewed, but still be aware of that because we're entering a holiday weekend. And I know a lot of you like to do the fire pits or go out camping for the Labor Day holiday. Just be aware the fire danger is elevated. So I don't think that's even going to change much at all, even for the holiday weekend overall. So just to make sure you're keeping in the back of your mind for your campsites, have a way to get them out quickly, get the hose nearby if you're able to, or a bucket of water, right? You can see we've got 70s in store today. Some passing clouds at times, perhaps, but very quiet week. We will have the biggest dip of the entire week will likely be tomorrow, which will mean Wednesday morning will likely be the coolest, where we are looking at now, I think, a lot of 40s, a lot of 40s. Louisville should stay in the 50s. Our record in Louisville, the coolest record we've got for the next few days is 51 degrees, and it's for several days. It's the same record of 51 that shows up. For now, that looks safe. For now, we dropped to 58 this morning in the city, so it'll be close. It will be close, but some other records in the region, yeah, could fall as we get into that cooler pocket, which will be tomorrow into Wednesday. Then after that, we try to warm back up after Wednesday. So here's the coolest morning. You see the 40s, and this model takes us to 45, but it doesn't see the heat down effect very well on this model, so that's the reason why we're kind of adding on a few degrees for that consideration. But in general, cool, right? We get into the very end of the model frame, which is where it stops, and that's where we'll start to warm back up. We should get back into the lower 80s as we head toward the end of the week, maybe into the mid 80s for Labor Day. But in between that, there is another front showing up for Friday night into Saturday. And this one will likely come through dry, but it may reset the temperatures again for another day or two in the 70s for the weekend. So we may just reset. As soon as we're trying to warm back up, we get knocked back down again. And then we warm back up right at the point of Labor Day. And for those that still want to use their pool, that may be a good thing. But the water is going to be a lot cooler now with these cool nights. Not exactly bath water. You got to keep in mind, our normal high for Louisville is 88 for this week. low temperature a little closer to 70. So we're way off the mark here, right? So we'll get a little closer to that normal range, I think, on Labor Day. And I'll get into the long term here in a second for the first week or so of September coming up. Any questions on the short term? I think it's pretty easy going, right? Everyone's talking about winter already. What's happening? Let's see. Oh, I didn't get look at your 1s and 3s. All right, I see some 1s. See some 1s. There's some 3s. All right, all right. Good little mix there. Good little mix there. Carrie wants more 90s though. I don't think we're going to get into a 95 scenario. Those are done. I can confidently say we're done with the really intense heat wave stuff. That stuff's it's done. Could we still hit 90? And I'm talking about Louisville hitting 90. Yes. If you're away from the city, the odds of you hitting 90 are very, very slim for the rest of the year. Very slim. So, Carrie, if you have yet to hit 90, just don't see it happening for you, buddy, for the rest of the year. But the city of Louisville could hit 90. But outlying areas, I doubt it. I doubt it. So, again, all this is arriving here a good 3.5 weeks ahead of schedule. This is very unusual pattern for us. And the fact that we keep getting this reinforcing shot that's showing up here for the weekend, and another one I'm about to show you, only indicates that it's going to be really tough to get warm surges for the rest of the year. And when you do get those warmer surges, they're more into the upper 70s and lower 80s, but that could still happen all the way into October. So it doesn't mean that we're 70s for the rest of the season here. No, I'm not saying that at all. You're going to get the warmer spells, but you'll get it all without the high humidity. Those days are done for the really humid days, the heat index of 102 and all that kind of stuff. That has all been wiped out. So if that is a positive news for you, hearing that today, good, you're in luck. You don't have to worry about that until next summer. Good. Tawana wants to know when she can turn the heater back on in the office. Tawana loves to sweat us out. It's like a sauna when we go in there. But for all fairness, today she had it on because she thought Harry was going to be here early this morning, so she was making it warm for Harry. I'm not sure I'm buying that, but that's her story. That's her story. Okay, let me cover the tropics real quick as we do see a trend downward, right? Aaron's long gone, already into United Kingdom, heading into Europe. It's just a low pressure, so yeah, doing its thing. Then we got Fernan, which is now located way out here in the Atlantic, not bothering anybody. And Fernan is not going to have a very tough battle here, or will have a tough battle, I should say. It's not going to be battling any land areas as it's well out to sea. This is a fish storm scenario. Even Bermuda looks okay from this one. You can see it's decent. It's symmetrical, right? The center of it is still the northern side here. So there are still some thunderstorms missing on the northern part. So this is still a little lopsided, but still forecast to stay at a tropical storm status. It's 50 miles per hour now as its limit and moving away, and nearly the same path as Aaron. Eventually it'll cross Aaron's path anyway, and that'll move into across the cooler water that Aaron has left for it after churning and upwelling. So that will certainly end Fernand's fate. The rest of the tropics are quiet. The other waves that came out the coast of Africa were not able to survive, and they're running out of time, for at least for now. There could be another uptick later, but for the next, I would say, 10 days, it looks quiet. So good news. All right, back here at home, and again, I've colored in the blue shade here for 70-degree temperatures or lower. We're basically under 80. And you can see that we try to climb as it reaches out toward the end of the week. But then there's another front, you see the hint of it, that drops in Friday into Saturday. And that one will mainly come in dry, but it will also keep this little wave of showers, which at times the models have been wanting to bring in toward our area. It will only just push it down to the south, down here into the deep south, to where it doesn't have a chance to impact our area, but we get the front. And we reset again for part of Friday. It'll be really Friday afternoon. You'll notice the wind picking up a bit, and cooler weather into Saturday. But it's about a maybe 30-hour cool wave with that one. We do reset fairly quick and warm up into the 80s as we get into Labor Day. So as we head into Labor Day, here's what the snapshot looks like for Labor Day, depending if you're traveling. Very quiet. As long as that holds out with that high building in, we'll be kind of in a very quiet zone here. And we're not alone. I mean, Florida will be the only stormy spot. I know there's probably a lot of vacationers down there, but The rest of the country, quiet. So what happens after that? Well, we get into September, and I do see signs that we're going to get at least 2 warm surges that could push us into the 80s, maybe close to 90 for Louisville. One of those will be toward the end of this model. This run of the Euro stops right here. Right at this point, around the 5th, I think we may see a bit of a surge ahead of this. Maybe some showers out of that, maybe. But the odds of getting measurable rain through even the 4th of September are very low here, guys. So I know the drought map is going to continue to expand when we get updates down the road here. So that means we're going to miss the ride likely for that one. So what happens after that? Well, there's another one that is showing up, and this one will put us a little closer to the 9th and 10th of September. This one may have a better opportunity to provide for a warm enough surge to get maybe some thunderstorms into, here I want to draw it over us. I think it'd be more into the Mississippi Valley. There's even a chance with this, the one that moves in around the 9th and 10th of September, that sleet may fall into Minnesota, the Arrowhead, into North Dakota. Not snow. I think it'll be a sleet scenario the way it's looking now, which is a little ahead of schedule for them. That's a little more October-ish for them to experience that. So they're probably like, ooh, okay. But what I can't tell you is what happens after that. But if we follow the pattern signal here, it would mean that another drop is coming down in mid-September. And that one could be the most impressive yet. And that one, Angela, I don't think will get us to frost talk here, but it may for the upper Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. So it's going to be tough for summer to fight back all the way to its end date later in September. It's going to be really tough because these cool fronts that keep dropping in just keep resetting it. And they are keeping the tropics from being a problem for us. All right, so there you go. Pretty easy stuff on that. The teleconnection here, I showed you the NAO the other day, but it's the EPO that seems to be a little more in control of this pattern right now, where it is staying way negative. This is the black line here, the line across, the straight line. That's the line it needs to follow to get back into a normal category, a neutral, and then it gets into a positive zone. We tend to stay more into the heat, but it is a negative signal. Tries to get closer to normal by the 9th or so of September, but overall, odds of more fronts dropping in from the north will continue to be more likely than heat waves will be. So that's the reason why I think you know, the intense heat waves are done, and why 90 is touchable, but only because we're drying out. And Louisville is a little odd in that sense. You can still hit 90 in Louisville, but other times it's a little tougher. All right, let me show you the 10-day. It's one of the nicer 10 days. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. And that'll probably be the storyline for me for a couple of weeks. So we got to entertain ourselves here, guys. We got to start like telling jokes. We need to do a game show. I have no idea. We got to start figuring things out because we're gonna be just have to talk about, you know, the top movies. Has anyone seen Weapons yet? Is that good? You know, stuff like that. Anyway, there's the 10-day. There you can see the climb toward the 80s. The reset that is brief there for the start of the holiday weekend. We bounce back up into the holiday itself, into next week. Next week will probably be in 80 to 85 range. Louisville may overachieve that before that stronger one around the 9th shows up. If there's any chance of decent rain, and that would include thunderstorms, it would be at that point. But that's a long way off here, so I don't know. I don't know how that will hold just yet. But if you're going to ask when will that happen, that's the earliest I really see the signal. Any questions? Brian, we still haven't gotten your Twisters review. I'll save that for the our Friday night blogs. Yeah, I'll do another late night blog. I may have to do it from home, but it doesn't matter, right? You guys don't care. But I may have to do one at night. Maybe I'll do it at home one night. But we will. Dale, what's the polar vortex doing right now? Well, it's not exactly absent, but it's in its place right now where it needs to basically be up to the north. Doesn't really start showing more of an impact until we get into the end of September and October. That's when it really becomes back into play. But there is a lag for us. Typically, that lag is more late in December and January. But it will be on the way as the sun angle is changing here as we cross seasons. It will naturally come back. Still on vacation right now. Everyone good? I think everyone's good. Everyone's quiet today. It's going to be hard to get everyone's attention on the blog this week, right? Not everyone's going to be like, I know it's nice out. I don't need someone to keep telling me it's nice again. But hey, it's more than just that, right? We do more than that on the blog. We discuss other things like tortoises. Where else are you going to get that on a weather blog? Nowhere. Nowhere. Brian, I never receive your notification or blogs. Where are you trying to get it? Just from YouTube only? I don't know if it's any social media provider. I don't know if how that works. It's up to how the signal works with third parties. If it's through our Wave Weather app, that we do control, and that is fairly consistent. Even the news app will send one out. So the weather app, for sure. So as long as you have the weather app, you'll be notified. I wouldn't rely on the social media ones to always notify you on the blog updates. They're not as reliable. I've noticed that, and delayed sometimes. Sometimes by the time you get it, I'm already done with the blog, right? And everyone gets mad at me. I'm like, it's my fault. Perfect day for football. You're right. What do we got? EKU's coming into town this weekend. So I'm a WKU fan, so go Cards. Yeah, quiet week for us. You're exactly right there, Weather Geek. Weather, nice and quiet. Get all your stuff done, you know, your errands, paint the deck. There's like 2 homes in my neighborhood that are getting the roofs done right now. It's a great week to do this. Really, the next couple of weeks would be great. So take advantage of this, guys. Get as many things done as you can for errands. We don't always get this lucky. So take advantage of that. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling for now because there's not much to talk about, and I got to save room to talk about other things this week. So you guys enjoy yourselves the rest of the week, and I will see you guys on the midday show. And again, on Wave Country today, coming up at 2 o'clock. Make sure to tune in for that. All right, take care, everyone, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.